Hi everybody, in this video I'm going to explain one of the most important chapters in the book, How to Build a Large Successful Multi-Level Marketing Organization by Don Filer. It is a great book explaining the network marketing business, and I feel that it's really important for us distributors to have a better understanding of MLM in order for us to take the maximum advantage of this unique business model. This presentation covers one of the most important aspects of Herbalife business on motivation and attitude. This will give you an excellent understanding of what motivates distributors, and you learn how to work with your team members and motivate them accordingly. So, it's important to know that there are two different types of motivations. One is downward motivation and the other is upward motivation. Downward motivation is like taking a hot bath, and upward motivation is constant. Let me explain. Most of you have been to our team training sessions, opportunity meetings, regional trainings, and even international events like the Extravaganza. These events are generally very inspiring and motivating. After attending the events, we find ourselves geared up to reach our goals over the next couple of weeks or months. And the challenge comes after a couple of weeks when the excitement level cools down and we don't know how to keep motivating ourselves. It seems that the hotter the bath, the quicker you seem to cool off. When we don't have enough understanding about how motivation works in network marketing, we will struggle to achieve that constant motivation level. I've had downlines who attended the biggest events in Herbalife, which last up to 3 days, and they saw the opportunity of their lifetime and got totally excited about their future. And yet, just after a couple of days, they became totally depressed. This is because for those 3 days they got hyped up, really motivated, but nobody explained to them clearly how to build a network marketing organization, and that's why they get down. Even hearing this presentation is like taking a hot bath. Going to seminars, getting together with your upline, reading a book, moving some products, obtaining more knowledge, these are all forms of the hot bath or the downward motivation. Hot bath motivation is very good only when you can understand how to use it together with the upward and constant motivation. And before I talk about upward motivation, let's talk about attitude in a technical way. When we talk to someone about our business, the other person doesn't know anything about it. So they have an attitude level of 0. So let's say in order to you to be effective in talking to this person about the business, you need an attitude level of 25 degrees. If your attitude level is lower than 25 degrees, it is best not to talk to anybody, because this will just drag you down. It is really important for us to teach our downlines or our new people not to talk to anybody when their attitude level is lower than 25 degrees. For example, you have a friend who wants to enroll as a business partner and come to your presentation. After the meeting, they get really excited about the business. Their attitude level is all the way up to 30 degrees. They see themselves getting rich with Herbalife. Before they have had a chance to learn anything, they go out and start talking to people. And since they really don't know how to handle themselves, when they meet negative skeptics, they get influenced and become negative themselves. They may have come across one of their best friends or even relatives who may or may not have had a good experience in network marketing companies. They may have met someone who just wanted to sign them up and so-called get rich of them, rather than by someone who was willing and able to help them build a business. A real sponsor and a good upline business partner will commit to helping them ahead of helping himself or herself. What will happen here is they will drop below the 25-degree attitude level. Then you get back together with them again, answer the objections and questions that they may have, and they go back up, maybe this time to 35 degrees. And this time they will stay there up there a little bit longer before they go below 25 degrees again. Now we know this, let's do it the smart way. So the question is, how do you have an attitude level above 25 degrees all the time? In other words, you aren't up and down like a yo-yo, but you want to be constant and consistent. This is when upward motivation comes in because it is constant. Here is upward motivation. You have an upline sponsor, and your upline sponsor will work with you and help you sponsor your first 5 business partners for you. We start with 5. Notice that when you sponsor 5 people first line, you only have 10 degrees. There is a mistake to avoid here. Try not to sponsor more first line than you can effectively work with. Each of your first line deserves your attention. Adding 2 degrees at a time and losing them just as fast will not help you. When your upline sponsor and you work together, and he or she help you sponsor your first 5 people, you will in turn help these 5 people sponsor their first 5 people. Their first level is your second level, and as it is deeper in the line, it is worth 5 degrees for you. All your second level people are worth 5 degrees each for you. Notice, if you only help one of your 5 people sponsor 5 others, that would put you above 25 degrees, the effective level. Notice what happens when you teach sponsoring down another level. You teach your people at your first level to help the second level sponsor some new distributors. Therefore, you get some third level distributors. The third level is 10 degrees, the fourth level is 20 degrees. The deeper you go, the hotter it gets. The only way you can understand this kind of excitement of having a deep organization, it's when it is first happening to you. And that's why you want to happen to your people as soon as possible. Once they experience it, they will get excited. So here is an example. Chris sponsors Keith into the business and Keith sponsors Ryan into the business. Keith works with Ryan and finds out that Ryan went out and recruited 5 serious business partners. He's really going to run with the business. What happens is that excites Keith and that excites everybody right up the sponsorship line. Note that this excitement, the arrow going up, and that's why we called it upward motivation. You need to support the people you sponsor to support their people. In this case, Chris works with Keith, and Chris teaches Keith to work with Ryan. In turn, Chris must also teach Keith to teach Ryan to work with his 5 serious partners. So now we've covered that in network marketing, you got to learn to teach, and you got to also teach to teach. There is also a special case. When you sponsor someone into the business, they are like a silver coin. Everyone comes in as a silver. They're excited, but they haven't gotten serious yet. They may enjoy the products, they may see the business opportunity, but if you ask them to treat this as a serious business, they are not at that level. The thing is, we have to understand that everybody has at least one friend. So what you can do is get together with these people, the silver people, and help them sponsor some of their friends who come in also as silver people. Support your people and you help them sponsor their friends and help them sponsor some of their friends of their friends. Keep going until you are 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th levels deep. And then all of a sudden, downline there somewhere, you find someone who turns out to be like a gold coin. Here's what you do. Go down and work directly with that gold person who really sees this business. What will happen is, in that process of helping the gold person, the silvers will be converted into gold. This is how you convert the silvers. Get someone underneath them. If that person underneath them really goes, the silver that had sponsored them will think, hey, I'll better get my act together. There isn't anything that would motivate people more than to have something underneath them doing something. It has been said that you can motivate people faster and more effective by putting a candle underneath their chair rather than putting a blowtorch to their thinking place or to the head. So to wrap up, one thing you don't want to do is to create a dependency on your people to you. They cannot depend on you forever, otherwise it's not going to work. There has to be a point where they can work independently of you. But before they are serious business people, meet their friends and sponsor downline until you find the gold. As you work deep, people above the line will start getting more serious. So now let's talk about the concept of sponsoring, and so that we can explain the concept of sponsoring effectively. So for example, you go out and sponsor one of your friend called Ryan into the business. And we must make Ryan understand the concept of sponsoring. So you say to Ryan, Ryan, since you're so serious about this business and you're so excited, in this analogy, you're like the sun. We got to go out and meet some of your prospects, some of your friends, some of your family, and tell them about the business. And when we sponsor someone into the business, these people are like a pan of water. They are just exposed to the business and they are not super serious yet. Okay, so in the group, there is a son, which is you, and you got to think to yourself, at what point would the water boil? If you took the water into the middle of the desert on the hottest of the day, the water still would not boil. It takes 100 degrees for the water to boil, and it won't boil at 98 degrees, nor will it boil at 99 degrees. It has to be at least 100 degrees. But the thing is, at 100 degrees, it's very, very effective. If we already know that with 25 degree of effective level, we can already start going out to sponsor people. At 100 degrees, when you're at 100 degrees, no matter what circumstance you are at, no matter what kind of people you meet, when you go out and talk about the business and sponsor people and talk about the product, you're going to get very, very good results. So now we're going to learn how to help the people we sponsored from the pan of water to boiling water. Okay? To get the water to boil, none of the hot bath motivation will work. Your sponsor can't boil the water, neither can the sun. It doesn't matter even if you go to the best seminar, the water won't boil. You can help the water get to the 25 degree level by motivating people with the hot bath method, but it's up to you to work with your group of people to get the water boiling. And remember, your upline will help you as well. So in other words, you know some people that your upline sponsor doesn't know. And your upline sponsor will work with you and go out and help you sponsor someone. Once you have someone sponsored, you already start to have candles underneath your pan. And with 5 people sponsored, you have the pan sitting on 5 burners. And that's the maximum number of burners that can be put underneath the pan. But notice that the water is not boiling yet at this point. It's only at 10 degrees if the 5 burners have not sponsored anyone yet. But if any of the 3 start sponsoring a line of 3 deep, or any of the 2 start sponsoring a line of 4 deep, or even 1 with a line of 5 deep, the water will begin to boil. Any combination that adds up to 100 degrees under the pan, the water will start to boil. At that time, the water is boiling. The sun, which is the upline, can go away and the water will still continue to boil. Once you have shown a person this and you call them on the phone, they won't think that you're calling them so that you can, make them do the business, but you actually know that they're calling to help you with the business. They're not trying to call you to put a blowtorch on your head, but they are calling to see if they could help you put burners underneath your pan so that you can turn the temperature on. You want to help them to get the water to boil. The further you go down the group, the hotter the burner goes. So once you have a person with the water boiling, it looks similar to this example here. Notice that you might have other people sponsored as well in your first line. You might have sponsored more than 10, 15 people to find your 5 serious people. And the first one to boil is not necessarily the first one you sponsored. It is the first one that got serious and got depth in their organization, and they keep it going. So when the water boils here, you can continue to work with the 5 serious people. Notice that the pan can only sit on 5 burners at a time. So really, if you have 15 people sponsored, you can only effectively work with 5 people at a time. You may have to sponsor 10, 20 people to get 5 serious people. And what happens to the others? You put them on the back burner, so to speak. So when you have the water boiling in one of the 5 first lines, then before going out to search for new people to work, brand new people to work with, you can take a trip back to the back burner and let them know what's going on. Let them know, the results of the people that have been working seriously, and see who, under different circumstances and different timing, at the time you sponsored them, they may not be ready to work, but now maybe they will be. So maybe they are just waiting to see how the program goes and how it works for you. So always take a trip around the back burner.